Sam Chen walked through the front door of his apartment, carrying a bag of groceries from the market. The smell of ozone and chemical compounds filled the air. He paused at the entrance, listening to the familiar hum of laboratory equipment coming from the back room. His roommate Kex was working again. Sam had been sharing the apartment with Kex for almost 6 months now. Finding affordable housing on Mars Colony was nearly impossible, especially for a graduate student like Sam, who spent most of his time studying xenobiology at the university. When Kex posted an advertisement looking for a human roommate, Sam jumped at the chance. Kex belonged to the Vorthak species, one of the most respected scientific races in the galaxy. The Vorthak looked somewhat like tall, thin humans, but their skin had a blue-gray tint and their eyes were larger and completely black. They were known throughout the galaxy for their advanced genetic research and medical breakthroughs. Sam put the groceries away in the kitchen and walked toward the back room where Kex spent most of his time. The door was partially open and Sam could see the alien hunched over a microscope, his long fingers moving quickly across a control panel. "Hey, Kex," Sam called out. "How was your day?" Kex jumped slightly and quickly covered something on his work table with a cloth. "Oh, Sam, you are home early today." Sam noticed the nervous tone in Kex's voice. His roommate usually spoke perfect English, but when he was stressed, his accent became more pronounced. "The professor canceled my afternoon class," Sam explained. "What are you working on?" "Just standard research," Kex replied quickly. "Nothing interesting." Sam had noticed that Kex had been acting strangely for the past few weeks. The alien spent even more time than usual in his laboratory, often working late into the night. Sam could hear the equipment running at all hours, and sometimes he caught glimpses of new machines that he had never seen before. "New equipment?" Sam asked, pointing to a large silver device in the corner. "Yes, the university lent it to me for a project," Kex said, but he would not meet Sam's eyes. Sam decided not to push the issue. Kex was always respectful of Sam's privacy, so Sam tried to do the same. But his curiosity was growing stronger each day. Over the next few days, Sam began paying more attention to Kex's behavior. The alien was definitely hiding something. Sam noticed that Kex had started collecting things from around the apartment. Small things that Sam might not miss right away. First, it was hair from Sam's brush. Then Sam noticed that some of his old t-shirts had disappeared from the laundry basket. Even the tissue that Sam had thrown away after blowing his nose was gone from the trash can. Sam decided to do a little investigating. He knew that Kex left the apartment every Tuesday morning to attend a meeting at the Galactic Science Consortium office. Sam waited until Kex left, then went to the laboratory room. The door was locked, but Sam knew where Kex kept the spare key. He opened the door and stepped inside. The laboratory was much more advanced than Sam had realized. Along one wall, there were at least a dozen different machines, all humming quietly. Most of them Sam did not recognize, but he could see displays showing complex genetic sequences and molecular structures. In the center of the room was a large table covered with sample containers. Sam moved closer and felt his stomach drop. Each container was labeled with his name and a date. The containers held hair, skin cells, and other biological samples. "What the hell?" Sam whispered to himself. He opened one of the containers and found several strands of his hair. Another container held what looked like dead skin cells. A third contained a piece of fabric from one of his missing t-shirts. Sam looked around the room and found a computer terminal. The screen was still active, showing a research document. Sam began reading, and his confusion grew with each line. The document was titled, "Human Genetic Analysis, Project Unknown Potential." It was written in both Vorthak and English. Sam focused on the English sections. Subject shows unusual genetic flexibility. One section read, "DNA structure does not conform to standard galactic biological models. Adaptive sequences present in quantities not seen in other species." Sam scrolled down and found more detailed notes. Human genetic code demonstrates unprecedented ability to interface with external stimuli. Unlike Vorthak, Zilani, or Chromax genetics, human DNA appears to actively modify itself in response to environmental changes. This contradicts current Galactic Science Consortium findings. The door behind Sam opened suddenly. He spun around to see Kex standing in the doorway, his black eyes wide with surprise. "Sam," Kex said quietly, "you were not supposed to see this." "What is this, Kex?" Sam demanded, gesturing at the samples. "Why do you have my DNA?" Kex closed the door behind him and walked slowly into the room. His shoulders were slumped and he looked defeated. I can explain, Keck said, but you will not like what I have to tell you. Try me, Sam replied, crossing his arms. Keck sat down at his workstation and motioned for Sam to take a chair. What do you know about the Galactic Genetic Database Project? Sam shrugged. Not much. I know it's some kind of scientific collaboration between different species. The project is more important than you realize, Keck explained. Every species in the galaxy contributes genetic samples to a central database. The goal is to understand the biological diversity of intelligent life and to develop new medical treatments that can work across species barriers. Okay, Sam said. That sounds like a good thing. It is a good thing, Keck agreed. But there is a problem. The Galactic Science Consortium has decided that human DNA is worthless for the project. Sam felt a chill run down his spine. Worthless? According to their analysis, human genetics are too primitive and unstable to provide useful data. They have classified human DNA as biological noise and have scheduled it for removal from the database. What does that mean exactly? Keck looked uncomfortable. It means that in 3 days all human genetic samples will be destroyed. Humanity will be excluded from the database permanently. Your species will be classified as scientifically irrelevant. Sam stared at Keck in shock. That's insane. Humans have made incredible scientific advances. We've developed faster than light travel, artificial intelligence, medical nanotechnology. I know, Keck said. That is why I have been conducting my own research. The official findings about human DNA make no sense to me. Keck turned to his computer and pulled up a series of charts and graphs. Look at this data. These are the results of my tests on your genetic samples. Sam leaned forward to examine the screen. The charts showed complex molecular structures and genetic sequences, but Sam could understand the basic patterns. Your DNA is not primitive, Keck continued. It is the most advanced genetic code I have ever seen. Where other species have rigid, specialized genetic structures, humans have incredible flexibility. Keck clicked to another screen showing comparative data. Look at this comparison between human, Vorthak, and Zelani genetics. Vorthak DNA is very stable and predictable. Zelani DNA is similar. But human DNA is constantly adapting and changing. Is that bad? Sam asked. No, it is extraordinary, Keck replied, his voice growing excited. Your genetic code can interface with technology in ways that should be impossible. I have run tests showing that human DNA can adapt to work with alien medical equipment, alien computer systems, even alien biological processes. Sam looked at the data more carefully. Even with his limited understanding of advanced genetics, he could see that the human samples showed patterns that were completely different from the alien samples. Why haven't other scientists discovered this? Sam asked. Keck's expression grew dark. Because they have not been looking for it. The consortium's testing protocols are designed to identify stable, predictable genetic patterns. Human DNA does not fit their expectations, so they dismiss it as inferior. But you don't think it's inferior? I think human DNA represents a completely new category of biological evolution, Keck said. Your species has developed genetic adaptability that could revolutionize medicine and technology throughout the galaxy. Sam sat back in his chair, trying to process everything he had learned. So why the secrecy? Why didn't you just ask me for samples? Keck looked embarrassed. Because what I am doing is technically illegal. The consortium has forbidden independent research on human genetics. They consider it a waste of resources. And if they find out what you're doing, I would lose my research credentials and probably be exiled from the scientific community, Keck admitted. But I believe this research is too important to abandon. Sam looked around the laboratory again, seeing it in a completely new light. Instead of feeling violated by Keck's secret research, he was beginning to feel impressed by the alien's dedication. What do you need from me? Sam asked. Keck looked surprised. You're not angry? I'm angry about the consortium's decision, Sam replied. But I'm not angry at you. It sounds like you're trying to help humanity. Keck nodded gratefully. I need more samples and I need them to be fresh. The tests I have run so far are promising, but I need more data to prove my theories. What kind of samples? Blood, saliva, and skin cells would be ideal. I also need to run some non-invasive scans of your brain activity and nervous system. Sam considered the request. How much time do we have? The purge is scheduled for 3 days from now, Keck replied. But I received a message today that concerns me. Keck pulled up his communication, system and showed Sam a recent message from the Galactic Science Consortium. Urgent. Human genetic purge moved to tomorrow at 800 Galactic Standard Time. All samples must be destroyed by this deadline. No exceptions. Sam felt his heart skip a beat. Tomorrow? That's less than 24 hours. Yes, Keck said grimly. Someone has accelerated the timeline. I do not know why, but it means we have much less time than I thought. Sam stood up and began pacing around the laboratory. What can we accomplish in 24 hours? If we work through the night, I can complete my analysis and prepare a report for the consortium, Kex explained. The data I have collected so far is compelling, but I need more evidence to make a convincing case. What are the chances they'll listen? Kex hesitated. Honestly, not good. The consortium has already made their decision, and they do not like to admit mistakes. But it is our only chance. Sam stopped pacing and looked directly at Kex. What do you need me to do? Are you willing to participate in some intensive testing? Kex asked. Some of the procedures might be uncomfortable and there could be risks. What kind of risks? The brain scans are completely safe, Kex assured him. But I would like to try some experimental procedures that combine human genetic material with alien technology. I have run computer simulations, but I have never tested them on a living subject. Sam thought about the implications. If Kex was right about human genetic potential, this research could change humanity's place in the galaxy. If Kex was wrong, or if something went wrong during the experiments, Sam could be seriously injured or worse. How much time do you need? Sam asked. 6 hours for the basic tests, Kex replied. 12 hours if we include the experimental procedures. Sam looked at the clock on the wall. It was already late afternoon. If they started now and worked through the night, they would have just enough time to complete the research and submit their findings before the deadline. Let's do it, Sam said. Kex's black eyes widened in surprise. Are you certain? The risks are real. So are the consequences of doing nothing, Sam replied. If the consortium destroys all human genetic samples, we might never get another chance to prove what we're capable of. Kex nodded slowly. Then we begin now. I will prepare the equipment while you get something to eat. You will need your strength for what comes next. As Sam left the laboratory to grab a quick meal, he felt a mixture of excitement and fear. In the next 12 hours, he and Kex would either prove that humanity deserved a place among the galaxy's great species, or they would fail and watch as human DNA was erased from scientific history forever. The stakes could not be higher, and time was running out. Sam returned to the laboratory 20 minutes later, carrying a sandwich and a large cup of coffee. Kex had transformed the room during Sam's brief absence. New equipment hummed quietly in every corner, and cables snaked across the floor connecting various machines. This looks serious, Sam said, taking a bite of his sandwich. It is serious, Kex replied, checking readings on several monitors. I have prepared 3 different testing protocols. We will start with the safest procedures and work our way up to the experimental ones. Kex gestured to a chair that had been fitted with dozens of sensors and monitoring devices. The first test will measure your brain activity while you interact with Vorthak technology. I want to see if human neural patterns can interface with our systems. Sam sat down in the chair, and Kex began attaching sensors to his forehead and temples. The devices felt cool against his skin. What am I supposed to do? Sam asked. Just relax and follow my instructions, Kex said, moving to a control panel. I am going to activate a Vorthak learning interface. Normally only Vorthak minds can connect to this system, but I want to see what happens when you try. Kex pressed several buttons, and Sam felt a gentle tingling sensation in his head. A holographic display appeared in front of him, showing complex mathematical equations and scientific diagrams. Can you understand any of this? Kex asked. Sam studied the display carefully. The symbols and numbers were completely alien, but somehow he found himself beginning to recognize patterns. It's strange, Sam said slowly. I don't understand the language, but I can follow the logic of the equations. Kex's eyes widened as he watched his monitors. Incredible! Your brain is actually interfacing with the system. Look at these readings. Sam turned to see the monitor screens, which showed rapidly changing graphs and data streams. What does it mean? It means your neural activity is adapting to match Vorthak thought patterns, Kex explained excitedly. This should be impossible. Our brains evolved on different worlds under completely different conditions. For the next hour, Kex ran Sam through a series of increasingly complex tests. Each time Sam's brain showed the same remarkable ability to adapt and interface with alien technology. "This is beyond anything I expected," Kex said, reviewing the data. "Your mind is not just adapting to our technology, it is improving the interface efficiency by nearly 30%. "What does that mean exactly?" Sam asked. "It means that when human brains connect to Vorthak systems, both the human and the system perform better than either would alone," Kex explained. "You are not just using our technology, you are making it work better." Kex began preparing for the second round of tests. This time, he drew several vials of Sam's blood and placed them in a complex analysis machine. "Now I want to test how your genetic material responds to alien biological systems," Kex said. "This is where things get more interesting." The machine processed Sam's blood samples for 30 minutes, while Kex prepared additional equipment. When the analysis was complete, Kex stared at the results in amazement. "Sam, you need to see this," Kex said, pointing to his computer screen. The display showed a molecular animation of Sam's blood cells interacting with various alien biological samples. Instead of being rejected or destroyed, Sam's cells were successfully integrating with the alien material. "Your blood cells are forming hybrid structures with Vorthak, Solani, and Chromac samples," Kex explained. "This kind of cross-species biological compatibility has never been documented. Is that good or bad?" Sam asked. "It is revolutionary," Kex replied. "Do you understand what this means? Human biology could serve as a bridge between different alien species. Medical treatments that work for humans might be adaptable for dozens of other races." Kex continued running tests, and each result was more remarkable than the last. Sam's genetic material showed an unprecedented ability to adapt, modify, and improve when combined with alien biological systems. "We need to move to the final test," Kex said, checking the time. "We have been working for 4 hours and we only have 8 hours left before the deadline." "What's the final test?" Sam asked. Kex looked nervous. "I want to try a direct genetic interface experiment. I will combine your DNA with Vorthak genetic material and see if we can create a stable hybrid sequence." "Is that dangerous?" "There are risks," Kex admitted. "I will only use a small sample of your genetic material, but if something goes wrong, the hybrid sequence could be unstable or toxic." Sam considered the risks. They had already proven that human genetics were far more advanced than the consortium believed. But would their evidence be enough to convince the galactic authorities? "What happens if this final test works?" Sam asked. "If it works, we will have proof that human DNA can enhance the genetics of other species," Kex replied. "That would make humans the most valuable biological partners in the galaxy. And if it doesn't work? Then we submit what we have and hope it is enough." Sam nodded. "Let's try it." Kex prepared the genetic interface equipment while Sam provided another blood sample. The process was more complex than the previous tests, requiring multiple machines working in coordination. "I am now combining your genetic material with mine," Kex announced, starting the procedure. They watched as the machines processed the samples, creating new hybrid genetic sequences in real time. The process took nearly an hour, and Sam could see Kex becoming more excited as the results appeared. "It is working," Kex said breathlessly. "The hybrid sequences are not just stable. They are superior to either original sequence." The computer display showed the new genetic code, which combined the best characteristics of both human and Vorthak DNA. The hybrid material demonstrated enhanced problem-solving capabilities, improved disease resistance, and increased adaptability. "This is it," Kex said. "This is the proof we need." But as Kex began compiling their research data, his communication system chimed with an urgent message. Kex read the message and his expression changed to one of worry. "What is it?" Sam asked. "The consortium has rejected our request to submit new research," Kex said. "They say the matter is closed and no additional evidence will be considered." Sam felt his heart sink. So all of this work was for nothing. "Not necessarily," Kex said, his voice taking on a determined tone. "There is another option, but it is risky." "What kind of option?" Kex turned to his communication equipment and began configuring new settings. "I can broadcast our findings directly to the galactic scientific community. If I transmit our data on an open frequency, scientists on dozens of worlds will receive it simultaneously. What's risky about that?" "The consortium has forbidden independent research on human genetics," Kex explained. If I broadcast this data, I will be violating direct orders. I could face serious consequences. Sam looked at Kex with newfound respect. His alien roommate was willing to risk his career and reputation to help humanity. Are you sure you want to do this? Sam asked. I'm sure, Kex replied. The truth is too important to hide. Kex spent the next 2 hours preparing the data transmission. He compiled all of their test results, analysis reports, and genetic sequences into a comprehensive research package. I'm ready to transmit, Kex announced. But I want to include something else in the broadcast. What? Your complete genetic sequence, Kex said. If scientists across the galaxy have access to a full human genetic profile, they can replicate our experiments and verify our findings. Sam realized what Kex was asking. You want to broadcast my DNA to the entire galaxy? Only to qualified researchers, Kex clarified. But yes, that is what I am suggesting. Sam thought about the implications. His genetic information would become available to alien scientists on dozens of worlds. It was a massive invasion of privacy, but it might be the only way to save humanity's place in the galactic community. Do it, Sam said. Kex activated the transmission system, and Sam watched as their research data began broadcasting across the galaxy. The process took several minutes, during which both Sam and Kex remained silent. It is done, Kex said finally. Our research is now available to every major scientific institution in the galaxy. They waited nervously for responses to begin arriving. The first message came from a Zilani research facility 30 minutes later. Requesting confirmation of human genetic compatibility data. The message read, results appear too significant to be accurate. More messages began arriving rapidly. Research stations, universities, and laboratories across the galaxy were requesting additional information and asking permission to replicate the experiments. They are taking it seriously, Kex said with relief. Over the next few hours, responses poured in from alien scientists who had begun testing human genetic samples in their own laboratories. Every response confirmed Kex's findings. A message from the Chromax Medical Institute reported that human DNA had successfully interfaced with their healing technology, improving treatment effectiveness by 40%. A Zilani research team announced that human genetic material had solved a century-old problem in their biological engineering programs. Even the prestigious Galactic Medical Alliance sent a message requesting immediate collaboration with human researchers. The response is overwhelming, Kex said. Reading through dozens of messages, everyone wants to work with human geneticists, but their celebration was interrupted by an angry transmission. From the Galactic Science Consortium, Kex of the Vorthak Research Division, the message began. You have violated direct orders by conducting unauthorized research and broadcasting classified information. Report to Consortium headquarters immediately for disciplinary action. Kex's shoulders slumped as he read the message. I expected this. The Consortium does not like to be proven wrong. What will happen to you? Sam asked. I do not know, Kex replied, but it was worth the risk. Before Sam could respond, another message arrived. This one was from the Consortium's highest authority, the Director of Galactic Sciences. Emergency session called to review new evidence regarding human genetic classification. The message read, all member species are requested to attend virtual conference in 2 hours. They are calling an emergency session, Kex said with surprise. The pressure from the scientific community must be enormous. Sam and Kex spent the next 2 hours monitoring communications from across the galaxy. The scientific response to their research had created a storm of activity. Research institutions were demanding that the consortium reconsider their decision about human genetics. When the emergency session began, Sam and Kex watched the proceedings on Kex's communication system. Representatives from dozens of alien species participated in the discussion. The Director of Galactic Sciences opened the session by acknowledging that new evidence had been presented regarding human genetic potential. However, the director continued, we cannot simply reverse our previous decision based on unauthorized research. A representative from the Zilani spoke next. With respect, Director, our own tests have confirmed the research findings. Human genetics demonstrate capabilities that could benefit all member species. Similar statements came from representatives of other species. One by one, they reported successful experiments using human genetic material. The pressure on the consortium became overwhelming. Finally, the director called for a formal vote on whether to reverse the human genetic purge. Sam watched nervously as the votes were tallied. Species after species voted to preserve human genetic samples and invite humanity into full scientific partnership. When the voting was complete, the results were decisive. Only 3 species voted to maintain the original decision. 27 species voted to embrace human genetic research. The decision is reversed, the director announced. Human genetic samples will be preserved and humanity will be invited to join the Galactic Medical Research Initiative as full partners. Sam felt a wave of relief wash over him. They had succeeded, but the director was not finished. However, we must address the matter of unauthorized research. Kex of the Vorthak Research Division will face disciplinary review. Another voice spoke up from the conference. It was the prime researcher of the Vorthak Science Council. "If I may, Director," the Vorthak official said, "Kex's research has brought great honor to the Vorthak people and advanced galactic science significantly. We recommend commendation rather than discipline." Similar statements came from other species representatives. Instead of punishment, they were praising Kex for his courage and scientific integrity. The director seemed surprised by the overwhelming support for Kex. "Very well. In light of the significant scientific contributions, disciplinary action will be suspended." When the session ended, Sam and Kex sat in stunned silence for several minutes. "We did it," Sam said finally. "Yes," Kex replied with a smile. "We did it." Over the following days, Sam and Kex became the most famous research team in the galaxy. Their partnership had not only saved humanity from scientific exile, but had also opened new possibilities for cooperation between species. Research requests poured in from across the galaxy. Universities offered Sam full scholarships to study xenobiology at the highest levels. Kex received offers from prestigious research institutions throughout known space. But Sam and Kex decided to continue working together. They established a new research program focused on interspecies genetic cooperation, with Sam as the human specialist and Kex as the alien technologies expert. Within weeks, their research had led to breakthrough treatments for diseases that had plagued multiple species for centuries. The combination of human genetic adaptability and alien scientific knowledge proved to be exactly what the galaxy needed. Sam often thought about how close they had come to disaster. If Kex had not been curious enough to conduct unauthorized research, humanity might have been written off as scientifically worthless forever. Instead, humans had become the most sought-after research partners in the galaxy. The same genetic flexibility that the consortium had dismissed as primitive weakness had turned out to be humanity's greatest strength. As Sam worked in their expanded laboratory, now filled with equipment from dozens of different worlds, he smiled at the irony. Humanity had not joined the galactic community by conforming to alien expectations. They had succeeded by being uniquely, remarkably human. The galaxy was a much more interesting place when humans were part of it.